everybody. This is day 15 of 101 Days Live, and today I get the honor of having Melissa Walsh join me. And Melissa has been an integral part in my growth and understanding of energy and all the good woo-woo stuff that we're trying to bring more mainstream. As we're trying to get Melissa in here, I will introduce her as I know her. So I met Melissa at Unstoppable Influence. Surprise, surprise. A lot of these people I've connected with through Unstoppable. But Melissa was at one of the live events, and I remember seeing her that day stand up and introduce herself. And she was like this beacon of light because she said, I also kind of do stuff with energy. And I'm not sure those were her exact words, but that's how I heard it. And I was like, oh, cool. Very cool. But she was really unsure about it. So it's been really fun and really inspiring to watch her through that phase of stepping into her power and really owning her truth. I've been working with Melissa. She's done energy clearing for me, and we've just done some intuitive healing sessions for since 2018, so 4 years now. And I think it was 2016 or 17 that I first met her. What I have learned from her has really helped me to feel more comfortable with all these strange things that I experience, and helped me to go, oh, I get it. Okay, now I understand why this is feeling this way.
Yay! Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
So happy to have you here. So I already gave them a very small, brief introduction of who you are in my understanding and how we met. And if you'll go more into depth, share with them whatever you feel like sharing as to who you are and what you do, and then we'll take it from there. So it's all yours.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did you say about me? Oh, just kidding. All of your words are always so kind. But thank you for having me, Jessica, and being so patient with the technology issues. But for those of you watching, my name is Melissa Walsh. By training, my background is in medicine as a physician assistant, which has been like the last, 12 years now. It's crazy how time flies. But I've really stepped into new roles of mine, which has been an interesting journey that I'm so grateful for. Jessica has been a part of my journey just as I've been a part of hers. But my new roles, I feel like, are one, homeschool teacher, and two, intuitive healer, spiritual mentor, which it's so funny. Like when you think of like these words, you're like, what do I call myself? What do I do? And I know, Jessica, you and I have had these conversations, like, what name do you put on a business card for some of the work, that we do? And so that's what I've come up with over the last 4 years or so. But essentially what that means and what I do is I have, I guess you could call it, an ability, something that's been gifted to me to help people reconnect with the truth and the light and the power of who they are. I'm thinking of another word. Some of you may be familiar with like the term higher self, Christ consciousness, just that the inner being of yourself. And sometimes it's tricky, especially nowadays when there's so much that's around us that feels heavy or yuck, or to really connect with who you are. And then the big questions come up, like, who am I? What am I doing here? Am I on the right path? You know, who can tell you? Nobody, right? I mean, I've experienced that myself. Like you ask those questions to yourself and then you're like, who can tell you on the outside, right? And so it's connecting with, you know, with that, the heavenly source, with the Christ consciousness, with God, with within you, not the man in the white beard sitting on a throne on some other planet, which was my childhood perception. But like really navigating through that and maybe getting out of what you know it's not and coming back to what it is for you.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a, in a nutshell, explanation of what I do now. To get to where I am, it definitely has taken a lot of identity death, is what I call it, um, to
Can you go,
to find.
can you go Can you go more into that identity deaths? Because that's a really integral part of the awakening, if you want to use that term. Um, just that people don't
Yeah,
understand that there is this huge piece and what that looks like. Just how, whatever you feel like expanding on that.
yeah. So this term identity death, I don't know if it's actually a thing in like a book that you read about. I know like the um breaking from identities is a thing, and I just like it felt like a death because then it's followed by grief, and so that's what I termed it. Anyway, uh the identity death is like those moments of deep change. It can be like a mental change, a mindset change. It can be in your life change. The classic example of this that I feel like most people can relate to is either a relationship, like through divorce, or when someone retires and they think it's going to be awesome and then they're now depressed because they don't know who they are without the person or that job or like that routine. And then they just sit in depression. Like, I don't know what I'm doing or what my purpose is or who I am anymore. Now, the key thing in that is not to sit in that because you can sit in that for years and a lot of people do. And it's really sad to see. So it's really getting help navigating that by someone who can like get it and understand like, oh, this isn't about your earthly walk anymore. It's about your inner walk. It really becomes a spiritual walk in a
Mhm.
sense. Like mission and ministry and what is that walk? But when those changes are made, like you don't have that job anymore, you don't have that person anymore, it's natural to have a grief because it's what you once knew and that was really comfortable and it was predictable. And now you're walking without handrails in the
Mhm.
valley of the unknown. And who do you trust now? A lot of people will be like, well, I don't trust myself because I've made a lot of bad decisions, right? But it's going deeper than that. It's not just trusting your logic anymore, it's trusting your heart and what I call the heart mind. Because now we're renewing the spirit of our mind and our hearts and connecting them together. It's not just based on emotions and it's not just based on logic, it's bringing the two together. But it's
And
a thing. You guys know that it's a thing.
it's definitely a thing. I remember when I had my big crash, I just wrote over and over, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And I was just trying to figure that out and until I did figure out who I am now in this space, I just felt so completely
To
lost.
add on to, you know, just change that comes identity death, that comes grief, that comes new awakening, that's kind of the process, I think it's important to also point out the energetic side. And when Jessica, when you and I talk about energetic, we're talking about like the frequency, like the feel of something. You know, like when you walk in a room and you're like, whoa, I don't really like the feel of this room. Or you walk in your house after a heated conversation, you're like, oh, I just need to get out of here. It just feels heavy. Or you flip side, you walk into a room and it's like really light and exciting, and you're like, oh, I love being around these people. Okay, so that's a feel. That is energy, right? Because you can't, like, with your mind manipulate that. Like, you know what I mean? Are you with me? Okay, you
Oh,
feel it.
definitely.
There are some
I think
people who feel those feelings in the air, or when they're around certain people or places. There's some people that feel it more than others. And that's not discussed. And I'm one of those people. There was a time that I could feel all the pain, all the yuck, like physical pain, emotional pain, and it was making me sick. But nobody, like, I've read medical textbooks. It's not in there. Like, not in any of my classes. So then I was thinking I was the crazy one. But no, you guys, like, some people, they're just wired that way. Like, we're wired alike to feel those things. And we're now in holiday season. We're in weird world situation time. We're in lots of change. Each individual is inner change, outer change, decisions to make. And when you're an energy sensitive or empathic person, like, that, all of that feels heavy is amplified. It's a thing.
so. What can they do to help protect themselves from that?
That is a loaded question. And I'm actually going to spend like 4 hours talking about that question and answering that. And so I would love for you guys to know about that. But to keep it like short, I want you to know that there's two things. There's an inner process to help that, and there's an outer process, which means there are things we can do and hold, from sage and Palo Santo to help cleanse the air, you know, from stones that hold a vibrational frequency that help you hold that, which matches up with what's in yourself. You know, there's different salts and baths and just things like that that we can neutralize the charge of things that we've taken on. And there's also visualizations and prayers and connecting with your own inner light and connecting with your guides and angels and Christ and everything, like all of those things within us, so that that's being projected out and creating a new boundary for us. And so we're going to dive more into that in that class that I'd love to have you guys on if you're like us and feel a lot of stuff within our own self and other people from years and years of not even knowing that there was anything you could do about it, because you guys talking about it and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it some more, that in itself can get draining. And don't get me wrong, there's a place, time and place to talk about it. But when you've talked about it for 10, 20 years, like, it's time to go deeper.
I love that you brought Christ into that. So one of the things, I've had people send me messages because I've been talking more about energy and talking more about meditation and all the things that are considered woo-woo. And how do you see this tied together? I'd love to hear it from your perspective, how that, what we've been taught in the book, how does that work with the woo-woo, or does it?
It's all perspective in my mind. And we in our culture are really tied to the boxes that you have to call everything something. And if it's not that, then it must be this. It's very black and white thinking. And along my journey, I have seen both, I feel like extremes, right? Like extreme, this is the only way, and more, I guess, I, I hesitate to use words because then people like assume what that means. And I'll say organized church, the ones that are very strongly opinionated and this is the only thing, right? And then the extreme opposite of it's only the earth, it's only the stars, it's only the stones, like two very polar opposites. And then I'm like, why does it have to be this or that? You guys, I love Jesus and I love the Christ consciousness feel and the work that it does through me. But like, there's more. Yes, the earth. Yes, the sky. Yes, the stars. Yes, the stones. Yes, all of God's creation. But there's so much programming that we're stuck in our childhood perceptions of what is or isn't, that it just becomes our journey. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I thought God was sitting on the throne, man in the white beard, and I asked the priest, I think I was in like third grade or something. Okay, I raised my hand and I was like, so how exactly are we going to get to heaven? Like, I'm thinking we're going to take like some space shuttle and we're going to like go like somehow. And so I'm trying to visualize this. I'm a very visual person. I see lots of things. And the question wasn't answered and it was ignored and went on to the next thing. I'm like, man, what the heck? This became the story of my life. No one could answer the questions that I had, or just was like, don't think about that. Of course she'd ask that. And so in my heart, I had a feeling of I knew what God wasn't, but I didn't really know what it was. If it's not the man in the white beard, then what is it? Is it just a feel? Is it just some words? Is it just something that created everything? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of this, it felt like this abstract thing. And so it became a journey of going from what it knew it wasn't to holding the desire in my heart to know what it is. And over the course of time, it all started to unfold. Now, on my path, I feel like the angels, I was very connected to the angelic realm, that the angels led me along that path. Like the messengers of God led me along that path of discovery of what God was to me. Plus, I've had experiences with Jesus. Some may call them mystical experiences, but through the dark night of the soul, he came. I saw him in the hospital. And for the longest time, I didn't want to tell anybody that because I thought I was going to be deemed some weirdo. But it was through that experience that I couldn't not believe. I couldn't not just know to the depths of my being. And I always go back to that experience that he's here, And I think we all will have an experience. Well, I don't know about all. I'm kind of generalizing, but like most, if it's of their highest good, will have an experience that they can't unsee or they can't unknow because it's just to the depths of them. So it's
Mhm.
It's Jesus, it's God, it's the angels, it's the earth, it's the sky, it's the stars, it's the whole connection there. But it's having the desire in your own soul to know is what then leads you on the path of your own discovery of it. Along with, there's people that I was guided to help me and mentor me along the way. I wasn't just sitting in my office doing it by myself by any means, um, but truly finding the people that will lead you on the path of that self discovery in that way, not telling you this is how it is.
Right. Yeah, allowing you kind of leaving a bread trail of
Yes.
places to look for your answers. Yeah.
Yep.
So, can you tell us more about what you have coming up as we come to the end of our half an hour together?
Yes, I would love to. I'm going to have a virtual event, a workshop. And this workshop is specifically designed for energy sensitive and empathic people who are struggling with irritability, anxiety, emotional overwhelm. But in your hearts of hearts, you crave peace, connection, and clarity. I want to add in there community. Community is a big piece because what I have learned along my path, and I know for you too, Jessica, is that finding people that are kind of like-minded and like get you, like, because we do it different, we do life a little different, we think differently about things, um and it's hard to find people to connect with in that way. And so that's what I'm wanting to create is somebody like, or a space that we get each other and that we can have these deeper conversations, and it's no more about the weather, the everything in the world and all this stuff, like really navigating our inner path. So that's who it's for. We're gonna have 4 hours together. I have an option if you want more. It's called the All Access Pass, where I have put together the toolbox, the Sacred Season Power Pack is what I called it. And it's loaded with all those physical things. And as a matter of fact, I have, I don't know if I could set this up to the camera very easily. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep,
Ah!
we see it.
Anyways, it's all falling apart.
Thanks for
But
phone.
yeah, the phone thing. But anyway, I'll hold up a couple things. Sage and Palo Santo with some blue kyanite. They all have symbolic significance. Honeycomb, pillars, tiger's eye charged, hand poured beeswax candles. You guys, this is all made under my own roof. Like, we didn't order this. Like, there's like some TLC going into this. I mean, we had the blended Dead Sea Himalayan and Epsom salt baths to neutralize your negative charges, and our lovely smoky quartz, our protector. Um, anyway, and a wisdom card, some tea, all the things that I felt like I wish somebody handed over to me and be like, all right, we need a reset. Here's your physical stuff in this box. You don't have to go find it and know if it's like a good place or a weird place or is this creepy or not. You know, like, here it is, like really great light stuff, and you'll have everything you need to at least get you going, reset, and connect with your inner self. So if you guys think that's cool, you can sign up. Go to live.melissawalshhealing.com.
So, do you have any imparting wisdom as we come to a close here?
My wisdom today is very simple. You guys aren't crazy. Even though you feel like different, the odd one, or so overwhelmed by everything that you're like, what is happening to me? Like, it's a thing. You're not crazy. You are connected with a wonderful person, Jessica, who can also guide you in your direction of life and energy and spiritual callings, all of that. So I really feel like you're in good hands and stay connected to her.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your journey with us, a little piece of it, because there's much more. We'll have to do this again. So,
Yep. And
okay.
maybe we can review the golden nuggets.
Yes, exactly. That would be great. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody who joined us. And anyone who has questions, comments, please put those in and we'll get back to those as they come through. All right.
So fun talking to
Bye,
you, Jessica.
everybody.
We'll see you.
You too. Bye.